Hey guys, yeah, Steve got a haircut. How you doing today? Hope you're having a good time. I wanted to talk to you guys about something. This comes up from time to time in home recording studio zone. People will talk about music theory. Music theory. How much music theory do you have? Maybe you don't have any. Do you need it? And one of my favorite points about the idea of music theory, very simply, the Beatles had how many hit songs, had how many multi-platinum albums, and between them, I don't know if they were actually able to identify the simplest things that we often talk about in music theory. I used to be that guy. I used to, and I shunned it as a matter of kind of my own integrity. I was like, well, I got this far without music theory. Why do I want to embrace music theory? Because I was already like in a band. We were already, playing out however many nights a week. I was already making a living doing this. I was already, in the business. Years went by, and the main reason that I personally got into music theory, and I'm not saying that you should, this is not a video about you should get music theory. What I want to show you guys today is I want to show you one trick that you can use with, and I'm not going to even put it in terms of theory until after I've shown it to you, but this is something that you can see and you can make sense of, and that you're going to get amazing results from. And I'm not going to qualify it in any kind of music theory way. But for me, the reason that I wanted to study theory is so I could communicate better with the musicians that I was coming across, like in studios and in bands. And if you don't have any music theory, and you hear the guys say, well, this is E minor 7 sharp 11 or something like that, and you're like, okay, that just made absolutely no sense to me. I wanted to be able to communicate, and so I wanted to learn the language. And to me, that's what music theory was. It was about how to learn the language. But let me get right to the point. All right, so what I have here for you guys today is I have loaded up in my software. Let me zoom in on this. I got an image of a keyboard. Let me just make sure that my range is kind of where you can see it. There's my low C. Okay, so I'm going to be playing everything in this range. Hopefully you can hear this. Okay, quick trick number one. On any keyboard instrument like what you see in front of you here, one of the places to start is just identify where the white keys are versus where the black keys are. And there's some reason why you see this type of a division between what a white key is and what a black key is on a keyboard. And for today, we're going to just absolutely ignore that the black keys even exist. They're not there. And for the people who know theory, they're going to say, oh, okay, this is an introduction to a C scale, but don't worry about what it is. It does have a starting point. And the way that we find the starting point happens to be when you're looking at the groups of black keys. We do look at them. We shan't be playing them, but we do look at them. You have a group of 2 black keys and you have a group of 3 black keys. And what we want to do is, wherever we are on the keyboard, find a group of 2 black keys, like say here, and look just to the left of that group. Here's the group. Okay, and that helps us find our starting point. The note happens to be C. You don't even need to know that. Okay, now here's how the trick works. We're going to be using a set of rules. Very simple. Number 1, you are allowed to play white keys. You are not allowed to play black keys for today. And rule number 2, keep your ears open. What I'm about to show you is the way that you can master 7 different musical emotions, with no knowledge. Okay. When I'm looking at my starting point C, and I'm just going to kind of look at every single white key in a row until I've reached the next C. And if I were to count these, I would realize there are 8 of them. And it's okay. There's no math today. I'm just letting you know when I go from one to the next one, there's 8. We can kind of ignore the top one because it's just C all over again. It's a duplicate of our starting point C, which means that there's really 7 different notes here in a row. Each one of them is going to carry a completely different emotion with it. How does that work? Well, we got 2 rules. Rule number 1, only allowed to play white keys today. Rule number 2, keep your ears open. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with the actual C, and we're going to call this 1. And as we move forward, we're going to move to the next note up, and we're going to call that 2. I know it's a D, but this is actually part of music theory where I would call this the first degree of the scale, the second degree, the third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, sixth degree, seventh degree, and we're not concerned with the 8th degree. All right, so we're on the first degree of the scale. And when I play this note, any random thing that I play following my new set of rules, which is I'm only allowed to play white keys, and it really doesn't matter where I play, this is emotion number 1. Even combinations of notes. And no matter what I did, it had a happy sound to it. All right, let me give you the list now of what's going to happen. First degree, happy. Second degree, darkness. Third degree, insanity. Fourth degree, dreams. Fifth degree, fun. Sixth degree, sadness. And seventh degree, horror. 7 emotions that we can convey, just like you just saw me do. I played the first degree, and it almost didn't matter what I played on top of it. It sounded very happy and bubbly. Let me move to second degree. Okay. Anything that I play out of random white keys above this is going to have a dark kind of a sound to it. Whether I'm playing single notes or whether I'm playing clusters. Now, where have you heard this before? The Doors. Little Riders on the Storm. Pink Floyd kind of lives here. Led Zeppelin. And I just added an extra second degree. It's a D, below everything. Third degree, moving right along, happens to be an E. And same rule, I'm only allowed to use white keys. And anything that I play, this is the soundtrack of insanity. When you're watching like a Marvel movie and the bad guy makes its entrance, I guarantee you his music is going to be based on this. But it's true for every note in the scale. So I can kind of just sort of... no matter what I choose. Soundtrack of insanity. Moving up to the fourth degree. This is the soundtrack of dreams. Anything that I play is going to sound like it's in a dream sequence. Fifth degree, soundtrack of fun. It's beautiful sounding. Sixth degree. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is it. Happens to be A. Anything I play in white keys above this is going to sound sad. It's the soundtrack of sadness. And we don't often use this one, the seventh degree. This is the soundtrack of horror. If you walk through the Haunted Mansion on Halloween, and you're going to hear this seventh degree note. And again, just the rule set is it's white keys above it. And you can kind of hear that kind of a vibe to it. Now, what you just heard there is strongly based in music theory. If I will tell you the names of what you just learned. You just learned the 7 modes of a major scale, based on first degree, what we consider C major, which is Ionian. If I base it on the second degree, this is from D to D. This is Dorian, D Dorian. Third degree, E, Phrygian. Fourth degree, F, Lydian. I love the dreams one. It's beautiful, but it's an actual emotion. Fifth degree, this is Mixolydian. Sixth degree, what we sometimes hear referred to as the minor scale, because every major scale has a cousin, a relative minor. In this case, it happens to be A, but it's the same scale. No black keys in it. It's all sad. The technical, not the correct name. The technical name for this is Aeolian. Aeolian, and the 7th degree for horror. This is Locrian. Locrian. So if you've heard of modes, and they do have those names, you can look deeper into it. There's YouTube videos on this. But I wanted to show it to you at a level that you don't need to really go that deep into the theory to be able to have control over 7 musical emotions. Happy, dark, insanity, dreams, fun, sadness, and horror. Just by choosing a different note in the left hand and never straying from the white keys of your keyboard. If you decide to look further into this and want to get more into how the music theory works, you might have a question. Does this work with any major scale? Yeah, absolutely. Whether I had started on, say, a G major scale, which it's almost the same thing. It's almost all white keys, but it does have a black key. I do need to convert the F up here into a sharp, but this is now a different scale, G major. The first degree of it would give me happy. There's my black key. Second degree would give me darkness. Third degree, fourth degree, etc., etc. Yeah, it can be applied to any major scale you want. But let me flip back. I'll flop back and flip back at the same time. We're looking at all white keys here. And in music theory, and you might have another question, well, what if I do play one of these other white or one of these black keys in addition to the white keys that I'm seeing there? Or what if I substitute, like you just saw me do, substitute a black key in for one of the white keys, so I still have the same number of notes? Do people do that? I can summarize all of music theory for you very simply. As deep as you go into music theory, the answer to that question is you can make a case to bring any one of those black keys into this scale. There's only 5 of them. You got a group of 2 here and a group of 3 here. And the scale surrounding it, I might make a case to add one of those 5 black keys, or I might make a case to shift one of the white keys around it to one of those black keys. And which one of the black keys? All music theory at its highest level is coming up with the reasoning behind your ability to do that. I had 2 rules today. Number 1, it was stick with the white keys as you tried this exercise. And rule number 2 was use your ears. If you get up around in an area and your ear is telling you, these white keys, they kind of get near this note that I'm kind of hearing in my head. Change it to one of the black keys. And all music theory is based around that. How much is there to know? I don't think there is anybody who knows everything. I think the best analogy I can come up with is that it's like cooking. There's people that just kind of naturally cook, and they don't have a recipe book, and they go into the kitchen and they can make you something amazing without training. They're just good at it. That's like the Beatles. The Beatles did that with little or no music theory. But then you have people who are trained in the culinary sciences, and they go and they learn how to be a chef and all kinds of stuff. They learn an amazing amount of stuff, and they can also present you with an outstanding meal based on the theory of cooking that as they understand it. But as you travel around the world, and you see, the TV shows, or Anthony Bourdain goes all around the world and he tastes new flavors. And he sees new cooking techniques. And this is not the stuff that they teach in culinary school. Is there more out there? Absolutely. There's more out there. I don't think there's anybody that knows all of it. But there's a sort of a common, like a bunch of it, a group of ideas that musicians who do communicate using music theory will use, one of which is the one I showed you today, called modes. 7 modes of a major scale. And if you know a couple other major scales, you can use the same trick. All right. I won't keep you. But I appreciate you coming by to check out our show today, and hope you have a great day. And I'll see you all in the zone.